welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be breaking down our Oklahoma Sooners 2025-26 football schedule. We're going to go game by game, look at every single game, try to predict the outcome. Who's going to win, lose, what the final scores might be, but we'll be looking at the Vegas early season predictions. So basically, as of right now, who Vegas predicts to win it, who is the underdog, and which games could potentially be toss-ups. There's a lot going on so far this offseason, a lot of movement, especially for the Sooners. Some people are saying that the Sooners are one of the winners of the offseason. We definitely want to take that into account. But first things first, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about the Sooners, their schedule, or anything else college football, make sure to drop it below. I will respond to every single one of them. Like I said, we're going to be looking at this 25-26 football schedule in every single game. We all know the Oklahoma Sooners. We all know their rabid fan base, one of the most popular teams in the nation, one of the most successful college football teams of the last 25 years. It is what it is. We know Brent Venables. The biggest thing that changed for this team was the addition of the transfer portal quarterback John Mateer. That is a complete game changer. We know Oklahoma went from the Big 12 to the SEC. First season with Brent Venables was kind of a shaky one. Second season, very successful second season, 10 wins. Obviously, you had Dillon Gabriel come in there. This team showed what they were capable of with the Brent Venables defense when you have a legitimate quarterback there for just one season. Dillon Gabriel showed a lot of success, but then obviously he left. He transferred to the Oregon Ducks, and then Jackson Arnold came in this past season. Not a successful season by any means for Oklahoma. 6 wins, barely were bowl eligible, but they did beat Alabama. They did show some promise. They did show physicality. Still had a top 20 defense. Top 10 in sacks, top 10 in tackles for a loss, top 10 in quarterback pressures. The biggest issue was the offense. Seth Luttrell got fired. They canned him, threw him to the side, and they were not successful running the ball. Their wide receiver core did not step up in any way whatsoever during the regular season. Really held this team back, but they had a lot of injuries to that wide receiver core. At one point during the season, all of their starting wide receivers were actually out. It's impossible to win games like that. The defense can only do so much. We know Brent Venables bringing back a lot of those defensive starters. We know they're going to have an aggressive front seven. They're going to put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. But now you add in John Mateer with that young wide receiver core. Oklahoma's been working the portal, top 10 portal class, top 10 recruiting classes. This is a top 10 overall roster. I said last season, Jackson Arnold, I wasn't buying it. He was not an accurate passer. He had too many turnovers, too many interceptions that plagued him this past season. You can't say that about John Mateer. John Mateer, some people might say, is going to be an early season Heisman finalist guy. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, but his name is probably going to be mentioned at some point for the Heisman. This is a guy who can get you 3,500 passing yards, 800 to 900 yards on the ground. He can get you 40 to 45 total touchdowns, passing and rushing. That's going to lead to some success. Now, last season, I'd say, probably the Florida Gators had the most difficult schedule last season. Oklahoma, pretty close. But this season, I would say Oklahoma probably has the most difficult schedule so far that I've seen in college football. It's not just the SEC schedule. Yes, that's rough. It's their out-of-conference schedule is also brutal. There's nowhere for them to get some breath and relax. Every game from beginning to the end is going to be brutal. It's going to come down to who can stay healthy 12 games and get the best performance. As of right now, I think Oklahoma's favored to get about 7 wins. Brent Venables needs more than that. They're favored about 7 to 8 wins. I need 8 to 9 wins at least from Brent Venables to solidify that job there and solidify that momentum going forward. Obviously, John Mateer coming in, you're bringing in Ben Arbuckle from Washington State. John Mateer very familiar with that offense because that was his offensive coordinator at Washington State. It's going to be an air raid. They're not afraid to run. It's a multiple air raid offense. They still line up. They still running at you. They're still physical. And John Mateer, it's what he can do mobility-wise. That is also a game changer here. When you're looking at that schedule there on the screen, the games that are in blue are the early season. Now, this is Vegas. This isn't me. This is the early season. Vegas is saying they are obviously going to win that game. It's not up for debate. So the ones that are in red are the games that they are the Vegas underdog early season. I'm not saying they're going to lose. It's just as of right now, they are listed as the underdog in that matchup. And the yellow, that's all the toss-up games. Not saying they're losing those games, not saying they're winning those games. Those are the 50-50 games. They can go either way because all those teams had a lot of changing factors, and we haven't seen a lot of these teams on the field yet, so we don't know fully what next season is going to look like. Oklahoma has a lot of changes, but some of these other teams have completely new quarterbacks as well, so we'll just have to wait till we get a couple games in to have a better sight of how that game's going to line up. But I think Oklahoma has a really good shot in all of those toss-up games. So let's go ahead and get started running through these games and breaking them down. And make sure, guys, hit that like button, subscribe button. Make sure to drop whatever you think about this team. If you are an Oklahoma fan, let me know in the comments. Tell me what it's looking like from your side of things. They kick things off Saturday, August 30th versus the Illinois State Redbirds. Obviously, this is a Blue Star. Oklahoma's favored this game. They're going to win this game. Don't sleep on FCS Illinois State. The reason that I said that is this is actually an FCS playoff team from last season. They went 10-4. Very talented team. But we like to say what it is. Oklahoma's going to beat the crap out of them. They're probably going to blow out. It's probably going to be a 48 or 50-7 game. They're going to win that handedly. Then that brutal out-of-conference schedule. Saturday, September 6th, number 21, the Michigan Wolverines out-of-conference game. But thankfully, they are playing it in Norman, Oklahoma. That definitely helps them. This is a tough game. This is a physical game. You'll see that as of right now, I have this marked as a toss-up because Michigan, extremely physical. They're going to line up in that eye. They're going to run it right at you. They have the number one player in high school. They have Underwood coming in as the quarterback. But this is going to be his first true test. He's going to be a freshman, probably starting here. That's a lot of pressure versus an aggressive Oklahoma defense. They're not going to show you much that first game. They're going to be saving it for this game. They're at home. They're going to pin their ears back. They're going to come at Underwood, try to confuse him, try to get some turnovers, try to force some errant throws. They will be able to do that. It's a tall task to ask Underwood to go to Norman and beat Oklahoma on their own field. As a true freshman, probably his second game ever playing. I don't know that that's really possible, but you have to respect Michigan. They finished last season. They beat the national champions, Ohio State, and then they beat Alabama in the bowl game. They can line up with anyone, and they can beat you when they force you to play their style of football. But Oklahoma, with Brent Venables at the helm, is still a very physical team. Michigan, the number 5 overall recruiting class this past season. They are talented. They are loaded. They have Sherrone Moore played at Oklahoma. This game is personal for him. He wants to win this game, finished last season with a lot of momentum. But it is a lot to ask. I'm going to lean Oklahoma to be the favorite here to slightly pull this game up. But as of right now, it's still going to be a toss-up the way that Vegas has it listed. Then after that physical game, they get a little bit of a breather here. Saturday, September 13th at the Temple Owls. Kind of a weird game. They go all the way to Temple to play in Philadelphia. They're obviously going to be favored here. They're going to beat the brakes off of Temple. Temple was, 3-9, 4-8 last season. They were bad. One of the worst defenses. They're going to have no fans there. It's going to be all Oklahoma Sooner fans. They're going to win it big. If they have won the Michigan game, you're starting to see a lot of momentum because at this point, they're probably going to be 3-0 going into SEC play. And this next game is going to be a really interesting one. Saturday, September 20th, the Auburn Tigers. Again, still coming to Norman, Oklahoma. So this game is going to be a toss-up here with Auburn. You have to respect Hugh Freeze. You have to respect what he's done in the past. He's won games when he was the underdog. He's a great coach. He's a great offensive-minded coach. But Auburn has not had a winning season since 2020. This is a team that's been struggling, but when you look on paper, they are a top 15 team, blue chip-wise, talent-wise, 4- and 5-star players. And guess who transferred there? Jackson Arnold, the quarterback from Oklahoma. If he gets the nod as the starter, he's going to be playing Oklahoma. Oklahoma definitely knows how to play them, but maybe he'll fit into Hugh Freeze's offense better. We don't know. But as of right now, I think that Oklahoma's salivating at their chance to get Jackson Arnold. Sooners, they gladly gave up Jackson Arnold because they have John Mateer, a legitimate quarterback number 1. When you're looking at Auburn, though, they know how to work that portal. They have Singleton Jr. coming over from Georgia Tech. They have Chaplin coming over from Virginia Tech. This is a talented team here. They're going to have a physical defense, a great secondary as well. I have this game listed as a toss-up. It is an SEC game. Oklahoma beat them last season, but like I said, if you put a gun to my head and you made me pick a side, I'm going to pick Oklahoma to win this game still. Then they get that bye week Saturday, September 27th, and then Saturday, October 4th, Kent State Golden Flashes again in Oklahoma. They're going to be favored here. If they've won these games so far, they're going to be 5-0 here. They're going to be, moving up that top 25. A lot of momentum, but that second half of the season is where it is so brutal. They have to make sure they win as many games that first 5 as possible, because that final 7, it's going to be rough. But obviously, Oklahoma is going to beat Kent State, and it's going to be a beatdown. This is the old massive rivalry, obviously. One of the biggest rivalries, one of the best rivalries in all of college football and all of sports, versus Texas, number 2 preseason Texas Longhorns. This game obviously going to be in Dallas at the neutral site. Texas, you have to take them serious. I have this game listed as this is the first red star for Oklahoma. This is the game where, as of now, Vegas has them listed as the underdogs this game. It definitely makes sense. Texas beat Oklahoma last season. 34-3, complete beatdown, completely owned them. Texas has made back-to-back playoff games. They almost made the national championship this past season. They made one previously. Very talented team. Arch Manning, though, stepping over into that starting quarterback role. We haven't seen him as a starter for an entire season. We've seen him kind of in and out throughout games, started a couple games throughout his career, but now the reins are his. How does he fare here? They've lost a lot of wide receivers to the NFL, but they know how to replace them. Steve Sarkisian, great coach, top 5 overall offense, very talented team. They had a top 5 defense last season, a top 3 defense last season. They lose a lot of starters to the NFL. But Hill, Jr., that linebacker core, they are going to be elite still. We'll still have a top 10 defense. We'll still be physical. Oklahoma can probably match them blow for blow on defense. Will John Mateer do what Dylan Gabriel did and be able to beat Texas his lone season with the Oklahoma Sooners? Very possible here. This game, some might say that it's a toss-up, but as of right now, Texas is heavy Vegas favorites. That's why I have that listed as a red. And for sure, probably their most likely loss so far through that first 6 games. So that's their first top 10 matchup. And then you have another top 10 matchup. They're going to be at South Carolina. Now they're on the road. They've been at home for a while. South Carolina probably going to be a top 10 team this season. They are loaded. Lenoris Sellers, what he can do on the offensive side. A lot of Heisman buzz. He can throw it. He can run it. This is a Gamecock team that came out of nowhere last season, finished really strong, lost their bowl game. You have to respect their physical, fast defense they had last season, a top 25 defense. They had a top 25 offense, very balanced. They have a lot of momentum going for them as well. This is a game to me that just seems like it's going to be close to the first 3 quarters. But if you made me choose right now, I'm going to go with South Carolina pulling away in the 4th quarter just because they have more starters from last season on this team, a more experienced veteran team spread out overall roster-wise. That might make the difference 4th quarter. But if Oklahoma wins this game, would not be surprised at all. Like I said, these stars here, it's the Vegas preseason predictions. It's not me. I'm not saying who's going to win or lose yet. That video will come out as we get past spring ball, closer to the regular season. But as of right now, Oklahoma is going to be the underdog in this game. But this is one you want to watch because I think it's going to be really close. I think South Carolina pulls away at the end of the 4th. But if it's Oklahoma doing that, very possible. Now, this next game, Ole Miss figures to be a top 25 team throughout the entire season. They've won 10 games their last 3 of the 4 seasons. They have Lane Kiffin, talented offensive mind, very talented team. They worked that portal every single season. The last 2 years, top 5 portal classes. Last season, they had the number 1 portal class, but they lost their quarterback. They lost Jackson Dart. He's the all-time passer there. A really great quarterback. They lost Trey Harris. They lost Walter Nolan, who is an NFL pick, going to be a top 10, top 15 pick. Lost a lot of talent. They have reloaded, though. They have retooled. Very talented team, very deep in the trenches. They had a top 10 offense last season, a top 10 defense, and they had a very physical defense, giving up 15 points a game. They get after it. They were scoring 38.5 points per game on offense. They are talented. We know they're going to move the ball. We know they're going to have a good defense, but I listed this as a toss-up here because I could see Oklahoma honestly pulling this game out. I think Oklahoma, with the addition of John Mateer, can even the cards here. Their defense, just like the Texas game, can cancel out the Ole Miss defense. It's going to come down to quarterback play, and Oklahoma, with John Mateer, always has somewhat of an advantage at that quarterback position. It's just what is the Ole Miss offense going to be this season? We have to wait to see there, but I could see Oklahoma pulling this game off. I could also see Ole Miss pulling it off. As of right now, it is listed as a toss-up. It is a 50-50 game. And then we have another massive SEC game. You are seeing here, this is 4 straight top 25 teams, 4 straight top 15 teams. They're going to be at Tennessee Volunteers, Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee, on the road. One of the most rabid places to have to play. But we all know what the big headline's going to be. We all know what the story was that has been dominating the transfer portal for 2025. Nico put up the big fight, wanted to double the money that he was making. Josh Heupel said, no, he hit the road. He is gone. I don't even know if that's a big loss. He only had 19 touchdowns last season, 5-star quarterback, 6 picks, but he was your experienced veteran leader at the quarterback position. That's where you need some foundational stability. He's gone. Josh Heupel has to replace that, but he's a great offensive mind. They have a lot of skill set players around them. They have 2 4-star quarterbacks on the roster. They added Joey Aguilar, the transfer from App State to UCLA. Now he's transferred to Tennessee. But they have Josh Heupel, still one of the best offensive minds in college football. They had a top 10 defense last season. They had a top 20 offense. They have playmakers there, but they have a lot of pieces that they have to replace from last season. Thornton Jr., McCoy, Squirrel White, all those guys are off to the draft now. The new weapons have to step up the next crop of wide receivers. They have one of the best run games, though. Dylan Sampson led the SEC in rushing touchdowns last season. He's a loss. They have to replace all of their talented positions. Going to put a lot more pressure on Joey Aguilar. And if the battle comes down between him and John Mateer, right now I'm going with John Mateer, but Vegas is probably going to favor Tennessee maybe a little bit here. But it's a toss-up game. Again, this is one of those matchups. You see the difference between this Oklahoma team and last year's. This is a game that they can win. Next is a team that ESPN has ranked as the most talented roster overall. This is after a bye week here. Saturday, November 15th at Alabama. Again, on the road here. Your 5th straight game versus a top 15 team. They're going to be playing the Alabama Crimson Tide. They don't have a starting quarterback named as of right now. It is either going to be Ty Simpson, it's going to be Mack, or it's going to be Russell. Either one of those guys. Kalen DeBoer has his guy back as the offensive coordinator. They're going to be going vertical. They're going to be pushing the ball down the field. They're going to look to be a lot more accurate with the dink and dunk. But they're going to pressure you with the deep shot. They have Ryan Williams, and they're hoping up that aggressive passing offense opens up the run game where they struggled last season, consistently moving the ball on the ground outside of the quarterback position. And then when you can run the ball, that in turn opens up that play action. We know they're going to be talented. We know they took a step back last season. You have to respect Alabama, but Oklahoma lined up and punched them in the mouth, beat them last season. But preseason-wise, Vegas has Alabama listed preseason as the favorite. That's why they have the red star. Oklahoma beat them last season. Don't worry, Oklahoma fans. You can still beat them this season. And then the second to last game, Missouri Tigers. They are back and they're back in Oklahoma now. Missouri, obviously, very talented team, but they usually have a pretty easy schedule. They kind of sleepwalked to 10 wins this past season. Luther Burden gone, a lot of their weapons gone. Talented team, top 30 offense last season, top 30 defense. But with their playmakers gone, have they retooled enough to be able to match Oklahoma's skill for skill at every single position? There's a team that you have to respect, though. They've been working the portal. They have pieces. They can keep this game close. They play their style of football. If you take them out of your comfort zone, though, you always have a shot to beat them. I think Oklahoma's going to be favored once this game happens. I think Oklahoma's probably going to win this game. But Vegas preseason does have it listed as a toss-up as of right now. But I would feel somewhat comfortable putting a blue star here. And then what? That would be your 6th straight top 15 matchup. And then why not 7 straight top 15 matchups? The LSU Tigers. Some people have them as an outlier to win the SEC to make the playoffs. This game is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma. Thankfully for Oklahoma, they get to finish the season at home. You have to respect LSU. You have to respect that offense. Garrett Nussmeier back. One of the best vertical passing teams in college football last season. They were pushing the ball down the field. Blake Baker as the defense coordinator took massive strides from the previous season when they had Jaden Daniels. The defense will be even more improved this season, and they have a top 6 overall roster according to ESPN. You're not going to beat them talent-wise on this roster. All that you can do is hope to match them talent for talent because they're as talented as anyone in the country. It's just how improved will that defense continue to grow year 2 under Blake Baker. Very talented team. Right now, Vegas has Oklahoma listed as the underdog. That's why they have that red star here. But guys, like I said, just because there's a red star here doesn't mean that I'm calling them to lose yet. The season predictions will be coming out later, maybe in 1 or 2 months once we've had some more spring ball. But Oklahoma can beat this team, but LSU, they are going to be moving the ball. They're going to have a successful run game, pass game. They're going to have an improved defense. Hopefully John Mateer and Oklahoma, after that brutal schedule that they just went through, will be fully healthy. That's the unknowns here. That's why they're listed as a red star, is they just went through a gauntlet. LSU didn't. LSU more than likely will be more healthy than Oklahoma, but what will Oklahoma put on the field? If it's a fully healthy starting roster, they can beat the Tigers. Guys, it's just a quick rundown of our 25 Oklahoma football schedule. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.